We have got Ambassador Laurent Billy, the Ambassador of France to the United States, who's going to be giving us, among other things, a preview of the French AI Action Summit, which you heard from the State Department earlier today is the most exciting thing on the agenda of AI in 2025. So Laurent Billy is the Ambassador of France to the United States, a position he has held since March 2023. With an extensive career in diplomacy, Ambassador Billy has previously served as the French ambassador to Thailand, Turkey, Brazil, and China. He's going for the record. He has also held significant roles within the French Ministry of Europe and Foreign Affairs, including Director General for Global Affairs. Ambassador Billy is a graduate of the prestigious École Nationale d'Administration and Sciences Po Paris. Please join me in warmly welcoming the Ambassador.
Well, good afternoon. I want to begin by thanking John Amory and the whole CSIS team for bringing us together. Policymakers, companies, scientists, researchers, and of course diplomats have been grappling with the topic of AI policy and governance for several years now. And that conversation is all the more relevant as we are approaching the AI Action Summit that France will host on February 10th and 11th, which will bring nearly 100 heads of state and government and 1,000 civil society actors representing 100 countries to Paris. But before I turn to the summit, I would like to share a few thoughts on how we approach AI policy and governance. Artificial intelligence is not simply an industrial and technological revolution. It has the potential to bring about a profound paradigm shift in our societies. It will change the way we learn, the way we work, the way we exercise our fundamental rights as citizens, the way we experience art, even the way we understand intelligence itself. As we stand on the threshold of this paradigm shift, our responsibility is twofold. On the one hand, we must accelerate and encourage the widespread adoption of AI technologies. The potential for AI to address challenges from climate change to reducing inequality, from access to education to global health crisis, is enormous. That's why each person in the world should have access to AI in order to realize the full potential of these technologies. We need to ensure that AI benefits all of humanity rather than a select few. On the other hand, we must also recognize and mitigate the risk that accompany this shift. As we all know, AI has the potential to facilitate cyber attacks and disinformation campaigns and to help produce biological and chemical weapons. But apart from those catastrophic risks, there are a number of other challenges that need to be addressed if we want to get the transition right. Intellectual property, privacy, environmental impacts, and impacts on work, to name but a few. On all these issues, AI needs to reflect the choices that we make and the values that are important to us as societies, and that is precisely what we have done at the European level with the EU AI Act. For AI to evolve in a way that maximizes its potential while minimizing risk, we need to build a robust international system of governance. I see three important priorities in this regard. First, we need to broaden the agenda of the international AI conversation. Ethics and safety are absolutely critical, but the reason we want technologies to be safe is because we want citizens to trust them and use them. That's why, building on the Bletchley Park and Seoul summits, we want a summit to address every aspect of the AI revolution. We also want the summit to focus on concrete actions that can help us address these issues. Second, we need to bring more countries and stakeholders around the table. While AI is a truly global phenomenon, according to the United Nations, fewer than 10 countries today are actively participating in all international fora, and more than 100 countries are completely excluded from the conversation. We need to address this gap, as well as make sure we involve private stakeholders and civil society. Diverse perspectives will help us develop a more inclusive global approach to AI policy and governance. Third, we need to build an international consensus on AI governance, because the biggest risk will be to have different systems of regional governance, which will result in fragmentation and disincentivize the use of AI. For France, this consensus must be based on 3 pillars: science, solutions, and standards. First, science. Our efforts must be based on scientific evidence. With AI technologies rapidly evolving, we need policies and regulations that are informed by the most rigorous, up-to-date scientific research. And here, I would like to applaud the work of the group of experts led by Joshua Benjo, whose interim results are already setting the standard. Scientific evidence is also fundamental when it comes to AI's impact on work or on children's cognitive development. To support this science-based decision-making process, Paris Institut Polytechnique will be holding an event called AI Science Days just before the summit, featuring top international researchers who use AI. Second, solutions. We need to ensure that AI solutions are accessible to everyone, regardless of their background, geographic location, or socioeconomic status. And we must provide the resources and training needed to empower individuals in all parts of the world to use AI effectively. To that end, during the summit, we will launch a large-scale public interest AI initiative to foster the development and sharing of computing power, structured datasets, open tools, and training for the talents of tomorrow. The project will be led by both public and private stakeholders. Third, standards. As each of our countries works to develop AI standard and define the rules of the road for its society, we need to avoid fragmentation. Fragmentation in standards and regulations will create an uneven playing field, hinder innovation, and undermine public confidence in AI systems. To avoid this, we must strive for global cooperation on AI standards. That's what we have been doing with regard to AI safety at the GPAI and the OECD with the G7 Hiroshima process, and more recently, this past November, with the first meeting of the network of AI Safety Institute hosted by the US in San Francisco. But there are other topics we could explore, such as the energy transition and the environmental impact of AI. While artificial intelligence will definitively make a major contribution to fighting climate change and protecting ecosystem, it is currently on an untenable path when it comes to energy use. The latest forecasts suggest that the energy needs of the artificial intelligence sector will be 10 times higher in 2026 than they were in 2023. During the summit, we want to launch an international multi-stakeholder coalition for sustainable artificial intelligence in order to expand research into the technology's environmental impact, evaluate models on that basis, define new standards, and step up green investment. Building on these 3 pillars, science, solutions, and standards, the summit team, led by Special Envoy Anne Bouvreau, has defined 5 key topics. The first is trust in AI. Building on the summits held in Bletchley and Seoul, we have identified several items to be discussed, addressing the spread of misinformation, exploring the interaction between AI and cybersecurity, and assessing and monitoring high-risk scenarios associated with uncontrolled AI use. The summit will also provide platform for major AI companies to report on their voluntary commitments and share the results that have been achieved so far. The second theme is public interest AI. To promote the accessibility of AI system and leverage the benefit of AI, we should build an open infrastructure that helps distribute access to computing power, develop more cost-effective models, foster access to structured data sets while respecting fundamental rights and trains future talents at the global level. The third topic is innovation and culture. We want the summit to foster technological excellence that drives innovation and artistic creation. France has a particularly dynamic AI ecosystem with more than 600 AI-focused startups, as well as major research and decision-making centers from global AI leaders. Our national AI strategy, with over 3 billion in funding, aims to bolster AI research, training, and economic integration. We therefore want a summit to examine economic and technological tools in order to maintain the momentum of innovation driving AI advancement. The impact of AI on art and culture will also be a major theme. AI has demonstrably accelerated the creation and distribution of cultural products, but this transformation has also challenged business models and the paradigm of intellectual property creation and remuneration. The summit will offer an opportunity to explore value creation and sharing mechanism. It will also place a special emphasis on cultural and linguistic diversity. The fourth topic we want the summit to address is the impact of AI on the future of work. AI has a potential to drive innovation and increase productivity, but it will also reshape labor markets, job content, and work method. This transformation calls for a proactive approach to education and training, empowering both workers and businesses to best manage these changes. So we want the summit to encourage implementation of AI solutions through sustained social dialogue, to establish robust systems for measuring and monitoring AI's impact on the workplace, and to anticipate and prepare for AI-driven changes in labor markets and education. The summit's fifth and final working group has been focusing on international governance. Since 2019, various stakeholders, including national governments, international and regional organizations, business coalitions, and civil society groups, have undertaken a multitude of efforts, each aiming to govern the development of AI and its applications. This proliferation of initiatives poses a significant risk of fragmentation, potentially resulting in disparate governance frameworks, uncoordinated parallel dialogues, and divergent collective preferences. Such fragmentation could ultimately compromise innovation and hinder the development of AI for the collective good. That's why we want the summit to forge a unified global architecture that harmonizes existing initiatives from the G7, the Global Partnership on AI, the OECD, and the UN. So as you can see, the summit will be a unique opportunity for us to come together and exchange ideas, to challenge assumptions, and to forge solutions that will shape the future of AI in a way that is safe, inclusive, and desirable. So I cannot stress enough that the success of the summit will depend on all of us. We need your expertise and your enthusiasm. There are many ways in which you can contribute, and a number of you have already been active in this area in recent months. At the Paris Peace Forum, we issued a call for AI projects to identify and support initiatives from around the world that use artificial intelligence for the public good. We have also asked for contributions from the scientific community, as well as think tanks and civil society, NGOs, journalists, and private citizens. We will be organizing AI convergence challenges to showcase the vibrancy of academic industrial ecosystem. Finally, more than 50 events have already been organized in the run-up to the summit, and even more of them will be taking place in the coming weeks or on the sidelines of the summit in February. On the weekend before the summit, we will also be hosting special events on AI's impact on the arts. So once again, we are counting on your support, and you are all invited to join us on the path to the summit so that together we can build an AI ecosystem for a prosperous, more open, and more inclusive world. Merci beaucoup. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador. The bad news is this concludes our program of speakers and presenters. The good news is there's more free food. There's a reception outside which will continue the conversation. I look forward to talking to many of you there. Thank you.